Hello guys, welcome to Commerce Learners Point. Today I will discuss on some important accounting terms by making comparison between them so that you can have much clarity on these terms. As a commerce student, it is very important for you to know these terms as these are frequently asked in many interviews. So before I begin, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notification, and if you like my video, please do like and share with your friends. Now let's begin. First difference is the difference between bookkeeping and accounting. First point is meaning. See, bookkeeping is an activity of recording the financial transaction of the company in a systematic manner. It means bookkeeping only records the financial transaction of the company in a sequential process, while accounting is an orderly recording and reporting of the financial affairs of an organization for a particular period. It means accounting records and reports also make analysis and interpretation of the financial affairs of the organization for a particular period, means for a particular financial year. It means accounting by making analysis and interpretation shows the financial position of an organization for a particular financial year. Next, what is bookkeeping? It is the subset of accounting, means it is the part of accounting. Accounting is the whole process which includes recording, reporting, analysis, interpretation, while accounting is a language of business. It means to understand the business, we should know the language of business, that is accounting. Next point is decision making. On the basis of bookkeeping records, decision cannot be taken because bookkeeping only records the transaction and does not make any analysis and interpretation. So we cannot make decision on the basis of it, while decision can be taken on the basis of accounting records. It means we can make decision on the basis of accounting records because it makes analysis and interpretation, so we can make decisions easily. Next point is preparation of financial statement. It is not done in case of bookkeeping. It means financial statement is not prepared in case of bookkeeping, while in accounting it is a part of accounting process. It means we prepare the financial statement, that is the income statement and balance sheet, in an accounting process. Next is the what are the tools included in bookkeeping, that is journal and ledgers. And in accounting we use balance sheet, profit and loss account and cash flow statement. Balance sheet shows the financial positions as it includes assets and liabilities, while profit and loss account includes the revenues and expenses, so we can know the profit of the company, and from cash flow statement we can know the cash inflow and outflow of the company. Next is the methods or subfields of bookkeeping. First method of bookkeeping is single entry system of bookkeeping, and second is double entry system of bookkeeping. In single entry system of bookkeeping, we records only one aspect of a transaction, while in double entry system of bookkeeping, we records two aspects of the transactions, that is debit aspect as well as credit aspect. Next, while in accounting, there are various subfields which includes financial accounting, cost accounting, management accounting, human resource accounting, social responsibility accounting, as well as environmental accounting, which is not mentioned here, and there are many other accounting also. Next is the determination of financial position. Bookkeeping does not reflect the financial position of an organization. It means it does not show the financial position, as it only records the as it only records the transaction. So how can it show the financial position? How can we conclude from it the financial position of a company, as it only records the transaction, while in accounting clearly shows the financial position of the entity. From accounting we can know the financial position of an organization, as in accounting it not only records but also makes analysis and interpretation, so we can easily know the financial position of the company. As in balance sheet we can know how much there is asset and how much there is liability. If asset is more than liability, then financial position of the company is good. If liability is more than the assets, then we cannot pay off liability, as there is not much amount of assets to pay off the liabilities, so the financial position is not good. Next is the difference between transaction and event. Transactions are those business undertaking that have a direct or indirect impact on the finances of the company. It means transactions are the those business undertaking. It means it includes those activities which have a direct or indirect impact on the finances of the company. It means it has a monetary impact on the company. While event alludes to the occurrence of consequences to a business organization due to a transaction that can be expressed in monetary terms. It means due to transaction a event occurs. It is the consequences of a transaction which can be expressed in monetary terms. It means an event which can be expressed in monetary terms is a transaction. An event can be a monetary event or a non-monetary event. Monetary event such as selling goods, receiving cash from customers, these are also transactions. While non-monetary events are like placing an order, giving gift to employee, that does not involve any monetary transaction. So we cannot say it as a transaction. Next is, what is transaction? It is a cause while event is a effect. Right? Next is accounting record. Transactions are recorded as they arise. It means when transactions occur, they are recorded in the accounting records, that is journal. Next, while only those events are recorded which are financial in nature, means on that events which are financial in nature, which have monetary impact on the business, that are only recorded in the accounting records. Next point is change in financial state. Transactions result in change in the financial position of the company. How the transaction cause change in the financial position of the company? See, if we receive cash from a customer, for example, there is a change in current assets as there is increase in cash. So current asset will increase, and from customer we are receiving who is a debtor. So the debtor will decrease. So there will be change in asset. So the financial position will ultimately change. While in event, there may or may not result in change in financial position of the company. Then next point is scope. Scope is narrow in transaction, while in event it is wider, because all events are not transactions, but all transactions are event. Next is the difference between debtor and creditor. First is point is meaning. Debtors are the parties who owes debt towards the companies. It means these are the person who buys goods or services on credit from company. So they owe debt, means they have to make payment towards the company. While creditors are the parties to whom the company owes a debt. It means these are the person from whom the company purchases goods or receive services on credit and to whom we have to make the payment. So these are the parties from whom to whom the company owes a debt. We have to make the payment. So these are the creditors. Creditors are the suppliers of the company, while debtors are the customers of the company. Next point is, what is debtors? It is an account receivable, as we will receive payment from the customer or debtor. So it is an account receivable, while creditor is an account payable, as we have to make payment to the creditor. So it is an account payable. Next point is status. So debtor is a asset. Why debtor is an asset? Because we have the right to receive the payment. So it is an asset of the company, while creditor is a liability, because we owe debt to the party from whom we have received the service or received the goods on credit. So we have to make the payment. So it is the liability of the company. Next point is discount. Discount is allowed to debtor. We allow discount to debtors. It means we give discount to debtors so that they can make quick payment, such as cash discount, and trade discount is given while we sell goods to the customers. Trade discount is generally given on MRP. Remember, trade discount is given on the MRP price or market price or quoted price of the goods. So it is trade discount. While from creditors we receive discount, because why we receive discount from creditors? Because we have to make payment to the creditor. So they may give us discount to make quick payment to the creditors. So it will be profit for us to receive the discount from creditors ultimately. Remember one thing here, discount allowed to debtor is a expense for the company, while discount received from creditor is a income for the company. Next point is derived from. The term dever of Latin language, which means to owe, it means we have to give. The term creditum of Latin language, which means to loan, means to take the loan. Provision for doubtful debt, it is created on debtor. Provision is a charge against profit which is created for debtor, as we have a doubt regarding the payment of debtor. Debtor may or may not give us payment, so company may suffer loss in future. So to avoid such loss, company create provision for doubtful debts, while provision for doubtful debt is not created in case of creditor, because we have to make payment to creditor. We will not suffer if we will not make any payment to creditor. So why to make provision on provision on creditor? So it will not affect the company. Next is the difference between purchase book and purchase account. See, purchase book is a part of the journal, while purchase account is a part of the ledger. Remember. Next point is, purchase book does not have a debit and credit column because it is not in the form of account. It is a book, while purchase account is a part of ledger. So it has a debit column and a credit column. Next is the purchase book balance is posted to the purchase account. The balance of purchase book is posted to the purchase account. It means it is transferred to the purchase account. Whatever balance is there in the purchase book account balance, it is posted to the purchase account. The balance from the purchase account is posted to the trading account. It means whatever is the balance from the purchase account, it is posted to the ultimately to the trading account. Next is, only credit purchases are recorded in purchase book, while in purchase account all cash and credit purchases are entered into this account after journal entries are made for them. Remember, in purchase book only credit purchases are recorded, while in purchase account both cash and credit purchases are entered into this account after the journal entries are passed for them. Next is the difference between fixed asset and current assets. See, what first is the meaning. Fixed assets are the long-term assets which are acquired by the entity for the purpose of continued use to generate incomes. It means we use fixed asset for benefit of the company for long-term purpose, from where we can get benefit from more than 1 year is generally the termed as fixed assets, while current assets are those resources which a company owns for being traded and held for not longer than 1 year. It means we held current assets only for 1 year. As from current assets we get benefit from 1 year, so it is included in the balance sheet for 1 year in that figure. Remember, current assets are held for 1 year while fixed assets are held for more than 1 year. Convertibility. Fixed assets are not easily convertible into cash, while current assets are easily convertible into cash. Fixed assets we cannot easily convertible into cash because they are not traded quickly, while current assets are traded in the financial year, so they are easily convertible into cash, such as stock, these are traded easily in a current year, so it can be converted into cash. Next point is holding point. It is generally hold for more than a year, while current assets are hold for less than a year. Next point is valuation. Fixed assets are valued at cost less depreciation, means we deduct depreciation from cost price. This is the valuation process of fixed assets. Because fixed assets depreciate each year, so we have to deduct depreciation of fixed asset because it value depreciates. Whatever amount we have purchased the fixed asset, it will not remain the same for each year. It value depreciate due to wear and tear, so we have to deduct depreciation to find out its true value in a particular year. While current assets are valued at cost or market value, whichever is lower, because current assets have dynamic value, its value changes, in its value does not remain same, so you can say that its value fluctuates, so it may be taken at cost price or market price, whichever is lower. Next point is financing. Long term funds are used for financing fixed assets. For purchasing any fixed assets, we use long term funds. Long term funds are those funds that are taken from banks, such as for which we can make repayment for more than 1 year duration. It means there is more than 1 year duration for make repayment of the loan. These are long term funds. While for current assets, we use short term funds, which we have to repay within 1 year. Short term funds have to be repaid within 1 year. Next point is pledge. So what is pledge? Pledge is a form of security which is created only on movable asset to assure the repayment of debt. We cannot create pledge in case of fixed asset, while in case of current assets we can create pledge because it is movable. Next point is charge. So what is charge? Charge is a right which a lender obtains in an asset, or we can say charge is a right over an asset by the lender. There is creation of fixed charge in case of fixed asset, while in case of current asset there is creation of floating charge. Now what is fixed charge? Fixed charge is a type of mortgage which is created only on specific identifiable asset to secure the debt. In such a case, the lender has full control over the asset and borrower is left with the possession of asset, or we can say the borrower cannot sell the asset without consulting the lender. While floating charge is also a mortgage, but it is not created on any particular asset. This charge is created on assets which are having dynamic in value and quantity, such as current assets. Here the borrower can sell the asset without consulting the lender. Next point is sale of asset. Fixed asset result in capital profit or loss, while current assets result in revenue profit or loss. What is capital profit? The capital profit which is a profit which is earned by selling a fixed asset or earned by raising capital for a company. This is not a regular profit of the company and it is not earned in ordinary trade of the, or we can say ordinary course of the business. While revenue profit is a profit which is earned during the ordinary course of business, and it is available also for distribution of dividend to shareholders. Next point is revaluation reserve. We can create revaluation reserve in case of only fixed assets, because the fixed assets value get appreciate over time, like land, its value get appreciated, or some other assets which if get appreciate, we create revaluation reserve for that type of asset. While in case of current assets, revaluation reserve is not created because it has dynamic value. Next is the difference between current assets and fictitious assets. See, first is the meaning. Those assets which are used or utilized within the period of 1 year are known as current assets, while fictitious word itself says fake. So fictitious assets are not an asset in the true sense, but this is huge amount of expenses or losses which are unclaimed in the profit or loss during the year in which they are incurred. It means current assets are utilized within the period of 1 year. It is we can say that from current asset we get benefit within 1 year, while from fictitious asset huge amount of expenses are incurred and it cannot be charged the whole amount cannot be charged into the profit and loss account. So we can say that it is an unclaimed expenditure. Next point is also known as current assets are also known as short-term assets, while fictitious assets are known as huge amount of unclaimed expenditure. Next point is write-off or amortization. See, current assets have been written off according to the passage of time, like bad debt written off. With the passage of time, we write off this type of losses. Bad debt is one type of loss, so we write off each year and not the whole amount in a particular accounting year. While fictitious assets are amortized according to the passage of time. These are amortized, means these are depreciated, as these are type of we can say that one type of intangible assets. So these are amortized or depreciated each year with the passage of time. We charge some amount of it in a particular accounting year to the profit and loss account. Next point is able to liquidate. These assets are able to liquidate. Current assets can easily be convertible into cash, so these are able to liquidate, while fictitious assets are not able to liquidate, as these are already fake. So how can we liquidate this type of assets? So it cannot be converted into cash. Next point is helping in. Current assets are generally helpful in running a business smoothly, as these are short-term assets, so it helps in running the business smoothly, while fictitious assets are helpful in starting a business or raising funds. Next point is length of period or uses. The period of getting benefit from current assets is less than 1 year, while from fictitious assets, these types of assets are used first, then after amortized in the next financial year. It means we use fictitious asset first, then we amortize it in the next financial year. Next is the difference between current asset and current liability. First point is meaning. Those assets which are used or utilized within the period of 1 year is the current asset. It means from where we can get benefit within 1 year. Those assets are known as current assets, while current liability are a type of loan that must be repaid within a year. It means if we have taken any short-term loan, we have to repay it within 1 year. Current assets are also known as short-term assets, while current liabilities are also known as short-term liabilities, because we have to make payment within 1 year. Next point is part of. Current assets are part of total assets, while current liabilities are part of total liabilities. Next point is financial statement. Current assets are shown separately on the right side of the balance sheet, while current liabilities are shown on the left side of the balance sheet. Next point is need for calculation. These are calculated, current assets are calculated to know the liquidity position of the company. As from current assets, we can know that how the liquidity position, it means the cash position of the company. While in current liabilities, these are calculated to know the current total amount outstanding which business has to pay in future. It means the current outstanding, it means the amount of loan today we have to pay in future. We have, it means the amount of loan today we have that has to be repaid in future. Examples of current assets. These assets have included cash, bank balance, sundry debtors, inventory or prepaid expenses. While in current liabilities, these liabilities have included short-term loans, sundry creditors and outstanding expenses. Next is the difference between expenses and expenditure. First point is the meaning of the term. Expenses are those costs that incur to earn revenue. It means we incur expenses to earn revenue, while expenditure is the cost that is spent on the purchase or growth of fixed asset. It means we incur expenditure for purchase of any expenditure, that will be expenditure for if we incur any expenditure for purchase of fixed asset, that will be expenditure. If we incur any cost to earn any revenue, that will be expenses. Next point is the effect on financial statements. Expense affect the profit and loss statement of a company as they appear as cost incurred to earn revenues. See, expenses are shown in the profit and loss account, so it will affect the financial statement, while expenditure does not have any implication on the financial statement, and these are usually not recorded. These are not recorded. Fine, as we know that the expenditure are not shown in the profit and loss account. Next point is the term. An expense is generally for short-term cost of the organization, while expenditure is usually the long-term cost of the organization. Remember, expense is for short-term cost of the organization. We incur expenses to manage our short-term cost, while expenditure are incurred to manage our long-term cost. Next point is the number of times suffered. Expense incurs multiple times, because in a particular accounting year we incur small expenses, so it incurs multiple times, while expenditure incurred once in a period. Generally expenditure is involves huge amount, so it occurs only once or twice during a particular accounting period. Next point is purpose of spending. An expense is done generally for general purpose. Expenses are done by an organization so that it can run on day-to-day basis. Remember, we incur expenses to manage our day-to-day operating activities. We incur expenses. These are also known as general expenses. While expenditure is done for capital and revenue expenditure. Expenditure are done by an organization to establish it so that it can operate. Without expenditure, a business cannot operate. See, if we purchase a plant and machinery, it involves a huge amount of cost, and we incur this cost only once or twice in 10 to 20 years, for 10 to 20 years. So this type of expenditure can be of capital expenditure and also revenue expenditure. Remember, revenue expenditure is also known as expense. So it is a expense. We can say that it is incurred to manage the day-to-day operating activities of a business. Next point is the examples. Examples include salary paid, rent paid, wages. These are all types of expenses. While a purchase include purchase of new land, purchase of new plants, or purchase of any particular fixed assets. These are all examples of expenditure. Next point is the difference between losses and expenses. First point is meaning. The amount that is left after deduction of total expenses from total revenue of the particular period, that will be loss. It means total expenses minus total revenue is the loss. While expenses means the amount spent by the business for running the business operation. The expenses are also known as revenue expenditure, as I told you. Expenses are the amount incurred for running the business operation, as I told. So without expenses, business cannot operate. So we have to incur the expense. As without making payment to salary, a business cannot operate. So we have to make payment. So expense will incur. Next point is method of calculation. Loss is equal to revenue minus expenses and losses. If the amount of expense is more, then only loss will occur. Remember, expenses is the total of all the expenses. Dependency on each other is the next point. It is dependent on expenses. If expenses are more, then loss will be more, and vice versa. If loss is less, expense will be less. Next is the difference between revenue, profit and income. First point is meaning. The actual amount received by the company through its business activities without any deduction is known as revenue. It means the actual amount, means from activities, from main activities of the business, whatever the company has earned, it is the revenue. While profit is the surplus remained after reducing all the expenses from the revenue is known as profit. Profit is the surplus from where the expenses are deducted from revenue. We deduct expenses from the revenue, then we get the profit. While income is the actual earning of the company during a particular year. Remember, whatever the company earns from a business or any other activities, it is the income of a company. Next point is type. Type can be of revenue, operating revenue and non-operating revenue, and types of profit are gross profit and net profit, and types of income are earned income and unearned income. Earned income means the income we have earned by doing the work, and unearned income means for which we have not done any type of effort, such as interest received from any investment or dividend received from any share. These are unearned income. Next point is dependency. Revenue is not dependent on income and profit. Profit is dependent on revenue. Income is dependent on revenue and profit. It means revenue is the whole, next whole is the profit, and next whole is the income. Income includes both revenue and profit, we can say. Difference between profit and revenue. Money earned by selling the main goods or services to customer is the revenue, while profit is the net earning of a business left after deduction of all expenses. It means net earnings of the company is the profit. Net earnings means we have to deduct the expenses from the revenue. That will be our net profit. Next point is revenue equal to total sales minus total return, means sales return will be the revenue, while profit is equal to total revenue minus total expenses. Revenue is also known as sales revenue, turnover, gross income, while profit is also known as bottom line, net profit, net earnings. Remember, revenue is shown in trading account as sales are shown in the trading account, while profit is shown in the income statement, that is the profit and loss account. Next is the difference between profit and income. See, first point is meaning. Difference between the income earned and the amount spent in buying, operating or producing something is the profit. We can say that in income statement it includes all types of expenses. So from that expenses, if we deduct the revenue, we get the profit, while income is the actual amount of money earned from from main activities as well as from other business activities. That is income. Next is the categories. Profit includes both gross profit and net profit, while income includes earned income and unearned income. Earned income is by doing the main work, while unearned income is not by doing any effort we have earned the income, such as interest received, dividend received. These are unearned income. Next point is dependence. Profit is very much dependent on revenue, while income is dependent on both revenue and profit. Next point is indicator. Profit indicates how much a firm has earned over the total cost of sales, while income indicates what amount would be distributed among the shareholders or reinvested into the business, because it includes the whole amount of earnings. So it will be either distributed among the shareholders or it will be reinvested into the business. Thank you guys. We will continue the differences of other accounting terms in next video. So for now, please do subscribe, like and share with your friends.